Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm going to be giving you something new to enjoy. What if Naruto was the first Otsutsuki to ever exist? No, he's not going to be Shibai Otsutsuki. He's going to be something different, but Shibai will be in this story, and also with the other Otsutsukis as well. So just sit back, relax, and yeah guys, enjoy. Don't forget to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this with all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, if you're new, I indeed have 4 more channels. Go ahead and check out the links for Anime King 3, Prince and Symbol. They will be down in the description, so go ahead, check them out, and yeah, obliterate that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. So without further ado, you are wasting any more time. How about we jump right into this? Begin now, guys. We begin this new story in the strongest nation, the land of fire, where the gigantic village of Konoha resides. As we skip to the Hyuga compound, one of the stronger clans within the Hin Leaf. Our target was a boy. He had silky, white hair that stopped right at the crook of his neck. Some of it came down in his face as he brushed it to the side. He had lavender eyes of the Byakugan. He was dressed in a all-cream clothing, looking like a yukata, with cream pants underneath, as he was calmly walking towards an abandoned section, as no one seemed to be anywhere close by. However, after walking for a bit more, he came across someone. As he came to a stop, the person spoke. "Go away." As the person sat on a stone, his back turned. However, the boy behind him did not go away. "I said leave," the person said, more demanding. However, the person behind him still did not move. Turning around, tear marks were on his face. A hateful look in his Byakugan eyes. His name was Neji Hyuga. As he got off the stone, the hateful look pinpointed towards the white-haired individual. "I said, go away." "No," the white-haired boy said, as he stood there rather calmly. His name was Naruto Hyuga. Naruto slowly approached Neji. However, Neji seemed to be extremely angry, upset, violent, despite the fact that he was only 4 years old. That look in his eyes was one of pure hate, and all of that hate was currently pinpointed towards Naruto, who was just 3 months younger than him. Neji shot forward, trying to force him to leave as he lashed out his palm. However, Naruto threw his palm out as well. Both hands clashed against each other. It wasn't as violent as one would think, but given their age, for their point of view, it was. Neji lashed out once again as Naruto weaved to the side. Neji lashed out once again as Naruto moved back. Neji started to jab towards his points. However, Naruto was evading all of his strikes. As he moved his head as Neji's hand passed his face, he wrapped his arm around Neji's arm before slamming the back of his hand into Neji's chest. Neji had to take a bit of a breather as he stepped back. As he snapped his gaze back up, he was hyperventilating. He was angry. He thrust forward, aiming towards Naruto's face. However, Naruto weaved under the strike and wrapped his arm around Neji's shoulder and wrapped his other arm around his back, holding Neji in a hug. Neji was only a tiny bit taller than him, so it wasn't a weird position to hold him. Neji tried to fight. "Let go of me," he said, cursing at Naruto to release him. "No, I won't release you," said Naruto. "If you want to fight, fine. I'll fight you until neither of us can move. But I will not allow you to go through this by yourself. Do you hear me?" said Naruto. His voice stern despite him being a literal child. He had this stern voice that was rather surprising for his age. Neji tried his hardest to get away from Naruto's grip. However, despite how skilled Neji was for his age, which was impressive, he was unable to break Naruto's hold on him. As Neji fought and fought and fought until the fighting turned to tears, turned to crying, turned to sobbing on Naruto's shoulder. As Naruto stood there allowing Neji to release it, to let it all out. Recently, Hisashi Hyuga had taken the place of Hayashi Hyuga and went to Kumo, and he was killed. Yes, it was a reprimand action for Hayashi taking the life of the kidnapper that came to kidnap Hinata Hyuga on her 3rd birthday, and his twin brother took the fault for him. He never explained to Neji. He told him that it was something that he must do. Neji believed that this was done just because he was from the Branch family, and their life was meaningless compared to them. They were just pawns to be used. That is why they marked them as cattle. Neji was hateful. He was angry. Very, very so. However, Naruto was here for him, to stand by his side despite what he was currently going through. Hisashi had done a lot for Naruto, so the most he can do was be here for Neji, and not let him fall into darkness and despair. Time skip. Hayashi Hyuga was currently looking down towards Neji as he had his hand in the ram seal, causing Neji great, agonizing pain. Over to the left side was a 5-year-old Hinata Hyuga. Both her and Neji had just been having a spar, and Neji went too violent. So Hayashi was teaching him to listen when his word was given to end the match. As Neji was screaming on the ground, Hinata had tears in her eyes. As Hayashi finally put an end to Neji's misery and deactivate the seal, that is when he felt it. A tremor went down his spine. His whole body seemed to seize up. Hayashi felt his heart rate increase drastically. It felt like he was being stalked by some sort of predator. Hayashi spun around really quickly, only to gaze into the eyes of one Naruto Hyuga. Hayashi proceeded to calm himself. As he started to walk towards the exit, he stopped a few feet away from Naruto Hyuga. "Is there anything that you wish to say?" he said, gazing beyond the child. "No, sir," Naruto said, as Hayashi walked past him. Naruto made his way towards Neji, who was on the ground in pain. Hinata was trying to approach, but Neji gave her a look as she stepped back away in fear. As Hayashi was walking down the corridor, as Keio Hinata, personal assistant, told her that it was time for her to leave, as he started to escort her out of the dojo. Hayashi wondered if that sensation came from that boy. It wasn't Neji, he was sure about that. The only two people there, beyond Keio, which he knew that was not responsible, was his own daughter and that boy, Naruto Hyuga. Naruto was a special case. It was a few years ago The Hokage returned to the village with a Hyuga, they said. Hayashi was confused. The nine-tail attack had recently plagued the village. Hiruzen was making his way. He was returning after another meeting with the fire daimyo when something strange happened. Hiruzen himself did not know how to explain it. All he saw was a great beam of light that seemed to almost pierce the heavens. The next thing he knew, there was a child in the center of the burned ground. He wasn't wearing a shred of clothing, he was a simple baby. Hiruzen had his people check the area, but they could find nothing. They did exams and testing on the boy, but he was a normal child, it seems. However, he was a Hyuga. Now that was rather surprising. There was no Hyuga that was not counted for. So where did this child came from? No one truly knew. However, he was placed in their custody, and he was recently marked, just like Neji, as branch members. As Naruto gazed down towards Neji, who slowly started to pick himself up. "Are you alright?" Naruto asked. "Yes, I'm just fine," said Neji. "Good," said Naruto, as he whacked Neji over the head. Neji snapped his glare back up towards Naruto. However, Naruto did not blink away. "What the hell were you thinking? Did you think you were fighting me or any other branch member of the clan?" "That was Hinata. When you're told to stop, you stop." Neji clenched his fists as he was still glaring up towards Naruto. They deserve what they get. She's weak. She's nothing. That doesn't matter. He has the trigger to end your life. Is that what you desire? Do you wish to die? Said Naruto. Neji did not answer what Naruto said. The next time you pull some shady crap like that, fighting, despite giving specific orders to stop, I'll be the one to knock your head off. Do you understand me? Tuh, like you could, said Neji. Well, try it again, and we'll find out, said Naruto as he extended his hand. Neji took it as Naruto helped him off the ground. Come on, let's get out of here, he said. Time skip. Neji was a few months older than Naruto. The academy was going to start this year, and he was going to partake in it. Unknown to Neji, his father had already signed the form. His father had left back a letter for him, but Hayashi had not given it to him. He believed that he had his reasons. Neji always wanted to join the ninja force of Konoha. Some of the Hyugas, mostly branch members, did not join the academy. They were personally taught within the clan how to be proper servants and fight for the clan, and if necessary, fight for the hidden leaf as well. Naruto was not able to join this year. The Hyuga was always looking out for quality. Yes, and if you might bring shame or disgrace to the clan, they would try their best to make sure your face is not out in the public. They believe him not to be strong enough to join the academy, despite the academy was for students to be taught. However, Naruto knew the real reason behind this. He was being punished to not get something that he desired because of his affliction with one of the main branch house members. At the moment, Naruto was on his knees as he gripped his head. He was screaming as a seal on his forehead was activated. A man stood in front of him, in his late 20s, his forehead clean without a seal to show that he was a part of the main house. He looked down towards Naruto with disgust and anger. A woman quickly rushed to the man's side. She had tears in her eyes. Please, stop. He didn't mean anything by it. I beg you, she said. He looked towards the woman before he released the seal. Next time, teach him to remain in line. Otherwise, he said, looking down towards Naruto as he proceeded to walk away. Once the man was gone, Naruto got to his feet, looking completely fine. The woman went towards him as she went down to one knee She placed her hand on his cheek. Are you alright? Yes. It didn't hurt so bad anymore. But you said I can't let him know that. Or the others know that either. She smiled. Yes. You have to keep it a secret, she said. Her name was Juvia Hyuga. Juvia had been there since Naruto was a baby. There was a few others a part of the branch family, but she was one of the main one that was there for him. Juvia was like a older sister and a mother to him at the same time. Juvia found out something about Naruto recently that she told him to not tell anyone else. It was a mark. Unlike the severe, catastrophic pain that it caused many others, she herself had been a victim of this. It did not affect him so much. She did not know why that was. However, she told him to keep it to himself, knowing that if the others were to find out about this, they would try to fix it and then punish him to show the others that if they did not speak up about the mark, they would be punished. It was all about the main family pride. That man that was doing that to Naruto a moment ago, he was her husband. Yes, he was a part of the main family. The Hyugas married those that were close to them in family sometimes to keep the bloodline pure. Granted, Juvia was not the same bloodline as her husband, but that action has happened in the past. However, there was a limited amount of the main family. Yes, a limited amount of the main family. But there was a lot of the branch family members. It was up to many of the branch family females to keep the line healthy and strong. After the children was properly tested, if they had any, they would be subjugated to the mark or not. Well, the decision was up to the elders, because the bloodline will be the branch and the main. So that was a whole complicated thing. Juvia was forced to marry him. His name was Hayato. He was a very hateful and angry man, even at his young age. The reason why Naruto was just put through that was because of him speaking out of terms, the way Hayato had spoken to Juvia. Sometimes Naruto could not hold his anger back, and he let it slip. And Hayato decided to teach him a lesson. However, the reason why Naruto could not hold it back was because the marks that she kept hidden away. She tried her best to hide them away from him as well, but Naruto saw them. Naruto saw the marks and he knew that Hayato was the one that was doing that to her. And he hated that. And he hated that there wasn't anything that he could do about it. She knew that he knew. She told him to not worry about it, she will be fine. However, it was eating Naruto up inside. She stepped towards him with a smile as she started to speak. Don't worry, she said. Just wait another 6 months, and I'll sign your form, so you can join the academy, just like you wanted. Really? Of course, she said, as she smiled towards him lovingly. Naruto was happy to hear that, as he wanted to join the academy. Neji was already going to be a part of the academy and he also wanted to join it as well. Time skip. It was his first day. Being an orphan within the clan, having no connection to any of the others by blood, Naruto was given a stipend from the head house. Until he was able to financially take care of himself, he was given a stipend to do so. It wasn't much, but it was enough to live. However, Naruto always gave Juvia half of this. Despite her saying that she didn't want it, he always find a way to sneak it into her things. After all, she cooked for him most of the times. She shared her food with him, and she was the one that bought him clothes anyway. As Naruto didn't have such of a good fashion sense, she was always helping him out. Naruto was really good friends with Neji. The both of them had had a tight bond. Just like Juvia has been there for Naruto, Hisashi has also been there for Naruto as well. He was one of the more kinder Hyugas, as Naruto also believed that he was forced to take Hayashi's spot, so that he would die and Hayashi would not. And for that, Naruto despised Hayashi. and sometime he let his hatred of the man be shown in his eyes. The last time someone saw him looking at him nasty, he was punished for a good 5 minutes. However, the mark did not hurt him as much think it did. Many a part of the main family saw Naruto as garbage. Reason being, he was a part of the branch family, and he also had no name, no lineage. They saw him as an outsider. While the branch family mostly accept Naruto, the main family didn't like him at all. The slightest thing that he did caused them to revolt and saw him as some sort of piece of trash that they need to extinguish. The only reason why he wasn't exiled from the clan right now was because he has kept himself humbled. And there were some people that were watching his back when things became too bad. However, Naruto was gazing towards the academy as he made his way. He had a white cloth tied around his head to hide the marking that was branded there. He was wearing a white yukata with grey pants this time and grey sandals as he proceeded towards room 305. Arriving in room 305, Naruto saw there was only a few people here. Hinata was one of them. He saw Kyo and her this morning. There was also another boy. He was sleeping. His hair was shaped like a pineapple. There was a chubby boy next to him. And there was a few others as well. As Naruto walked up towards the top row, Hinata smiled towards him as he sat down next to her. "Hello, Hinata-sama," he said. "How are you feeling today?" "Nervous," she said. "Really nervous?" Hinata and Naruto were friends. Majority of people did not know this because Naruto told her to stay away from him. In the eyes of the clan, he was garbage. And most people believed that Hinata was not worthy. They believed that she was nothing special to be at the head of the clan. Him being around her would just lessen her reputation even more. She hated that, but she understood what Naruto meant when she saw the eyes of the others. And Naruto was such a good person. He didn't want her to get hurt or being seen as something she was not. But now that they were not there, they could talk all they want. As Naruto knew that Hinata was a gentle, kind soul that did not deserve any of the harsh treatment that she was receiving from her father or the clan heads. "There is nothing for you to worry about. I am here," said Naruto. Yesterday, Juvia had been there for Naruto, as Naruto loved her for that. He didn't have any parents, but she was there. At the ceremony, there was a lot more kids. Naruto saw the door open up as more kids started to file in the room. When the teacher finally arrived, it was a man with a scar over his nose. "Welcome one and all," he said, with a smile on his face looking at them. "To all of you that are here, you are the ones that chose this part of your life. You choose to become a ninja of this village, to fight for you and your fellow man, and protect the will of fire. My name is Aruka Mino, and I will be your teacher to help you guide you through this path of your life, and help you be ready for what you have to face upon becoming a ninja of this village. I will do my best to help each and every one of you," he said. "All I ask for is your attention and your time, and to listen what I say, so I can nurture all of your potential," he said, as he gave each and every one of them a smile. "I know that most of you are not familiar with each other, so why don't we begin with an introduction," he said. The door blasted open as someone rushed inside. She jumped and landed in front of Aruka. "Don't forget about me," she said as she pointed right in her chest. "I am Mito Uzumaki, and I'm going to be the first female Hokage, and the strongest Hokage to ever live." Many of the students started to laugh upon hearing that. Shikamaru, who was sleeping, opened one eye. Her, huh? Of all the people to be in a class with, why her, he thought. Sasuke Uchiha simply huffed as he turned his gaze away. Aruka smiled. This was going to be a rather interesting class. Time skip. Neji was in the field. As he dodged, he felt the force of the attack. Neji ducked. He weaved. He tried to keep up as he backpedaled. In front of him was Naruto, attacking with great force. He was light on his feet. Neji jabbed Neji palm strike, however. Naruto evade and twist. It was like a dance. However, this dance had all sorts of movements. Naruto was able to evade all of Neji's strikes, and Neji was slowly building himself up as a prodigy within the clan. At the end of their session, Naruto was thankful to Neji so they could do it out here without having the prying eyes of the clan on them. Neji understood why Naruto hid his true physical attributes from the clan. If they found out that he was this powerful, majority of them were gonna hate that. To know that he was stronger and that he was going to be better. They only tolerate him because they think that he was nothing special. Neji noticed that Naruto had something on his mind. What is it? He asks, approaching. It's nothing, said Naruto. Neji had people there for him, but Naruto was the only one that actually stuck by his side. Juvia was there. However, her husband made it hard for her to interact with the kids for too long. As Naruto was there for him though, it didn't matter what he was going through. Neji did not move though, he simply looked at him, waiting for him to say something. Fine. I'm worried about Juvia. Is he still hurting her? Said Neji. There are more marks on her. I touched her arm and I saw it was makeup. She's hiding the marks. He's not even trying to hide them anymore. Naruto said as he clenched his fists. He's hurting her more and more, and there's nothing that she can do about it. Nothing I can do. Despite all that she's done for me, I need to do something, Naruto said. Neji sighed. He didn't see how they could help her in this. The option for her to divorce him was not there. If that was brought up, they had no idea what he would do to Juvia. The main members saw them as beneath them after all. Naruto knew something that Juvia told him not to tell anyone else, and he had not told Neji. Hayato wanted a child. However, Juvia just could not see herself raising a child with that man. She didn't want to put any child through that. If the child was deemed unworthy, they would be branded with a seal, and Hayato would be a horrible father. The testing medic was a branch member who was very close to Juvia, so they were able to falsify the data to make it seem like their efforts of trying was not working. Juvia was making sure that their sessions would not conceive a child. As much as she was forced into this, she didn't want to put any child through this. That is the only thing that she did not want, and something that she would risk her life to do, to make sure she bring no child that would be subjugated to all of this, especially to have Hayato as a father. As Naruto and Neji proceeded to head home, Naruto has been in the academy for a year and a few months now, and he's made a few friends there. Many people did not want to talk to him, believing that he had a stick up his ass or something. They believe the Hyugas are proud and dignitary and refuse to talk to commoners, but Naruto wasn't like that at all, as he calmly made his way along with Neji. The moment he stepped into the compound, Naruto could tell that something was wrong. Something was not right. Neji seemed oblivious to this, as the both of them made their way towards the branch family quarters. Upon arriving there, Naruto saw a group of Hyugas. The look on their face was one of mourning and sadness. as Naruto made his way. When he saw the location that they were gathered near to, Naruto came to a stop. It was one of Juvia's friends, an older man. His eyes looked towards Naruto with sadness. "I'm sorry," he said first. "Juvia has passed away." The world seemed to stop for a moment as Naruto tried to understand the words that came from the man's mouth. Neji had a shocked look on his face. Naruto was quiet as Neji looked towards him. Naruto's eyes just kept on looking at the man. Neji had to ask what happened. The man said that he did not know though. The information was not told to them. Time skip. Naruto stood as he watched as a funeral proceeded within the clan grounds. They even had their separate burial spot. None of the main members were here. Not even Hayato showed up. At the end of the day, the sky was darkened as Naruto was on his knees, sitting in front of the grave. Someone appeared beside him. It was a doctor. The voice came out smooth as it spoke. "Hayato found out about what was going on. She told me that you knew about it. They're not telling us what happened to her. I believe that he was the one that killed her. Right after he found out, she's dead." The doctor went away after saying that. He didn't want Naruto to be left in the dark. To at least tell him what took her away, then leave him empty and confused about what happened. As Naruto sat there on his knees, his eyes closed, the heavens seemed to react to his sadness. The sky started to quake with lightning, thunder, as the rain started to pour. The water that was soaking him stopped as Neji was by his side with an umbrella. Neji did not say anything, he simply stood there and be there for him. It didn't matter the minutes or the hours that passed by. He just stood there by Naruto's side. Time skip. Hayato was returning drunk. She forced his hand, he told himself again and again. He knew that something was wrong, he knew that she was up to something, but he never thought that she was preventing the both of them from having a child. What she did just to prevent his child from being born, they've not conceived because of the pills that she was taking. He searched her things. He searched long and hard and followed her. When he saw her talking to the doctor, he did this for weeks until he saw the day when she got the refill and she hid them away from the clan compound. After doing some research on what they were, he was shocked, he was angry. And he also drank so much that he was not fully lucid. He activated the seal, and he never stopped it until her eyes rolled back. He was punished verbally by the main family because Juvia could be a great specimen for more of their clan birth. However, he lied and said that she couldn't produce any child. So not even their verbal lashing was that bad, despite the fact that he ended someone. And when he told them, they believed that his actions were justified for what she did. 2 weeks has gone by, and he believed that he made a mistake, actually missing her. She would always do as he say, and fall in line, and be ready for him when he was home. He's gonna have to find another one that would be just like Juvia. He had to get home now, as he was slowly making his way. He decided to take the other way. It would be much quicker as he headed towards the forest to make the way around. As he was walking through the forest, he felt something as he turned. Whatever it was though, it hit him so hard. He fell down to the ground as blood was leaking down his face. The knock seemed to knock some senses into him as he tried to wonder and understand what was going on. When he saw, there was Naruto. He noticed that he was holding something in his hand, but the blood was filling his eye. It was blurry. How dare you lay your hands on me? How dare you strike me, you insignificant, garbage child? Do you know the punishment for laying your hands on a main member? Juvia is not here anymore to protect you. I know. Because you killed her. He activated the seal as Naruto dropped to his knees. As he stepped forward. You know nothing, you idiotic child. And you made a mistake because your life will now come to an end. He said, approaching Naruto. As he stood triumphantly above him. When suddenly, he was hit in the gut. Unlike normal Hyugas that use their chakra to poke certain areas of the human body to close their points or even disrupt their chakra on the inside. Naruto's chakra was completely under his control. So much so that he could fool any tests, any machine, anyone to believe in that he was your standard average ninja. That is why the simple palm strike that Naruto gave Hayato, it felt like he was hit by a train. The force of his chakra did not only affect the spot that he hit, it affected the entire body. As Naruto pushed out his chakra and it became like a thick wall that slammed into Hayato, he burst through several trees. The man coughed up blood as he lay there on the ground, trying to fathom or understand what just happened. As Naruto started to take deep breaths, he used a lot of chakra in his attack, and it seemed to sap a lot of his chakra. Naruto stepped forward. You forced her to marry you. You abused her. You hurt her. And she took it all. She took it all and she was still the kind, innocent person that she was. Why? Why did you have to go that far? Why did you have to take her away to end her life? Just because she's a branch member does her life mean nothing to you people. You claim you're the better, you claim that you're the dignitary one, but all of you, you're just goddamn monsters, said Naruto. And I'm tired of it. It doesn't matter what happened from this moment on. You're not gonna leave here alive. Let them kill me if they want. I don't care anymore, said Naruto. But if anything's gonna happen tonight, it's that I'm gonna kill you. Upon saying that, Naruto felt like a switch snapped inside of him. He moved forward as Hayato jumped out of the way. The tree broke as Naruto's palm made contact with it. Hayato got to his feet despite the pain. I'm far above you, boy. Your lucky attempts of attacking me has just come to an end. Hayato dropped into his stance. 8 tetragrams, he said. 32 palms. He rushed forward to end Naruto. However, as his attacks came in, Naruto's eyes saw them like they were coming in slow motion. Naruto twists and turned and dodged, moving his body parts as he pulled in his stomach and pulled his chest to the side. Hayato was baffled as Naruto grabbed his leg as Hayato tried to kick him. Naruto then struck right in his calf. He wasn't done though, as he pushed his hand into Hayato's stomach and gripped and turned before he released the force that he had built up. Hayato spat out blood as he dropped on his back, screaming in pain as he felt his body shook. The sky started to further darken. Rain started to fall down on them. Lightning started to go off. Thunder! The lightning flashed as Hayato looked up to see Naruto's eyes, which were unusual. As Naruto stepped forward, the area started to tremble. The switch that snapped started to release an unknown power inside of him. Hayato got back to his feet as Naruto felt a sensation. He raised his hand as Hayato was pulled towards him. Naruto thrust forward and slammed his hand into Hayato's chest. Both of his hands. Blood sprayed out of Hayato's mouth and his nose and his eyes. He was launched through at least a dozen trees before coming to a stop. Hayato was writhing in pain and agony as Naruto was slowly approaching right through the trench that his body created. Hayato could not move his legs. He was trembling. Please, don't do this. You, as he spat up blood. Save your words. I already told you. You're going to die, said Naruto. Naruto felt a vibration in his hand. As he thrust his hand outwards, it felt so natural. A hand, made from pure chakra, it was white, came out of Naruto's palm and shoot. It slammed on Hayato. Naruto was frightened by the force. The entire area shook. However, he felt this tingling. Naruto gripped his fist as a hand closed around Hayato. As Naruto looked down towards him, just wanting to disappear, the translucent power hand seemed to ignite with white flames. Hayato screamed for bloody murder, but no sound escaped as Naruto watched him burned. He burned up on the inside. His whole body burned into nothingness. Naruto was shocked by what he just did. That's for Juvia, he said. He decided to get out of here before anyone came to see what he was doing. As he proceeded to leave the area, Neji left the window open as he waited in his room. When he heard something as he saw the window opening up, as Naruto came inside, his clothing drenched. Neji quickly got to his feet. What were you doing? He said. As Naruto did not tell him where he was going, he simply told him to cover for him. So Neji did so. Naruto looked towards him. I made things right. What do you mean by that? Did you cover for me? Said Naruto. Yes, said Neji. I'll talk to you in the morning, Naruto said, as he opened Neji's door before looking around. As he headed towards his room, Neji was now worried to what was going on. However, he grabbed a mop as he started to wipe up the water. The next day, they had no academy. Neji heard people talking that Hayato Hyuga was missing. Neji made his way towards the training field, knowing that Naruto would be there waiting on him. Arriving, Neji saw Naruto sitting on the stump. You killed him, didn't you? I'm not sure how it is possible, but given how I saw you last night, you found a way to kill him despite the seal that is placed on you. Yes. How? Said Neji, not quite understanding. Naruto released a breath. Juvia was the only other person that knew this, but this mark, Naruto said, pulling down the white cloth on his forehead. It doesn't affect me as it should. What? Neji said, confused. The pain, I mean. I fake it. You fake it? Yes. It isn't mind-boggling pain or anything. It feels like a tap on the forehead when they activate the seal. So I fake it. Juvia was worried if they find out what they would do. Neji nodded in understanding her train of thought. But how is that possible? You're like all of us. Why doesn't it affect you? I am not sure. But something strange happened last night. When I was fighting Hayato. Wait, where's his corpse? Evidence, Neji said. That will link back to you, don't worry. He's gone. What do you mean? Naruto turned toward the tree behind him as he felt that tingle as he thrust his hand out. The strange projection hand appeared. However, unlike last night, Naruto could freely move it. Naruto gripped the tree with a large hand as he ripped it out of the earth. It then started to burn the tree as Naruto tossed it. What the hell was that? Neji said with a disbelief shock, look written all over his face. I'm not sure, said Naruto. Something strange is happening to me. It's not just this, it's my chakra as well. What do you mean? Neji said, trying to understand. It's hard to explain, said Naruto as he looked at his hands. Last night, after going after Hayato and using a considerable amount of force, I felt myself getting tired. But then, I felt this strange switch of sorts, like it was inside of me. And when I did switch it, my chakra felt strange. It didn't feel like my own, said Naruto, as he held his hand up. Neji was amazed and shocked when he saw Naruto's hand covered in chakra. Usually one had to activate their Byakugan to see the inner workings of their opponent's chakra, but there it was visible. Most had to use a considerable amount of force to bring their chakra to the surface, but Naruto was calm and relaxed as he closed his eyes. The chakra spread from his hand as it went towards his clothing. His hair started to fly as it started to spiral. The place started to tremble slightly. The wind started to blow. However, Neji shouted at him to stop before he drew attention to himself. As Naruto calmed down and took a breath. That's exactly what I'm talking about, he said. Even after that display, I would feel tired. I wouldn't have been able to do something like that. So how are you doing this now, said Neji. I'm not sure. But whatever this is, I think it's linked to who my real parents are. But that is something that no one truly knows, Naruto said as he looked towards his hands. Neji saw something different within Naruto, something that he couldn't explain himself. They decided to keep this to themselves. When the day passed, there was an announcement about the main branch member Hayato and his disappearance. There was an investigation. Neji was worried that the information would get leaked if they ever found out that Naruto was behind this. The doctor was quite aware that Naruto did something to Hayato. How, he was not sure. The doctor knew that it was his fault. Yes, it was his fault. Upon seeing Juvia with the doctor, Hayato had came to him, and Hayato broke him, and he told him that she was the one preventing herself from getting pregnant. The doctor didn't have time to tell her because Hayato went home and ended her life. So he blamed himself. That is why he told Naruto the truth, believing that at least someone close to her should know how she really died, because the others were covering it up and there was nothing the branch members could do about it. However, the information about Hayato's disappearance was quickly put to the side when the Uchiha clan was attacked by their own. Many of the branch members of the Hyuga clan seemed to believe this was a good attack on the Uchiha clan. They laughed about it, saying that the Uchihas went mad and exterminated themselves. Naruto was disgusted by their behavior. He was disgusted how he could be distantly related to these kind of people. Countless innocent died. Naruto knew that there was a grudge between two clans. However, there was countless innocent civilians. Innocent Uchihas that had nothing to do with the fighting. He didn't know why. What happened happened, but you shouldn't be mocking what happened. The more time passed, the more Naruto started to despise and hate his clan. But now, Juvia was gone. Juvia was the one that always cheered Naruto up, telling him to focus on his goals and not focus on the branch member when they belittle him, when they call him an outsider or trash, and that he shouldn't be here. But now she was gone. All of that festering hate and anger. It wasn't just affecting the branch member family. It was affecting everything for Naruto. He started to become a bit cynical as the time passed by. Neji noticed that. Even Hinata. It was the way he spoke, the look in his eyes, that kind, warm look. It was slowly going away as Naruto came to see the reality of things. Neji had tried his best to be there for Naruto because Naruto was there for him even though his hate was still there. His friend was there, so he stood by Naruto's side throughout all of that, making sure that he was there for him. Months went by, and months turned into years as Naruto went through the academy. He never showed them what he could truly do. They always saw him as a weakling, someone that was deserving of the mark despite not knowing his background or his lineage. Naruto heard rumors and whispers amongst the clan that they wanted to get rid of Hinata to be the future head of the clan. She was weak. The members, especially the elders, did not make it too easy for her. Most of them talked right in front of her face, demeaning her, belittling her. As Naruto watched, that was all he could do. He had to stand there and watch, despite his boiling frustration and anger. And her father stood there, without a care in the world, as he started to focus on the younger one, Hanabi. Naruto made his way. He was now 12 years old. After another ruthless session from the elders and their demeaning talk, Naruto knew that he mostly stay away, but the girl looked like she was being affected more and more. Hinata felt the hand on her shoulder. She wasn't paying attention, as she jumped slightly. However, she looked up to see that it was Naruto. Naruto had not been paying that much attention to her, given what has happened recently. However, as he placed his hand on her shoulder and smiled, "It's gonna be alright," he said. Hinata hugged him, needing someone to hold on to at that moment, as she cried in his chest. Time skip. Today was a very big day for Naruto. Neji had become a genin a few months back, and he was a ninja right now. Naruto was warned this morning by the upper heads to not fail the exam. It didn't matter which branch he was from. He had the last name, and he will not bring disgrace to the clan. They warned him. However, at the end of the day, Naruto found himself in the forest, now with his newly proudly headband tied around his forehead, as it was hiding the mark. Naruto was in the forest as he held his hands out. This time, two spectral hands emerged. They split through the forest at intense speed as they wrapped around several trees before. Naruto yanked them back as they ripped the trees out of the ground. However, he wasn't done though. Naruto pushed them outwards. The trees exploded into pieces. Over the past few years, Naruto has been meddling with them, trying to gain a better understanding of this power that he wields. There was something else as well. Naruto allowed the hands to break a tree, but not completely in half, as he held it together with both of the spectral hands. That is when he closed his eyes. It was like stitching, clothing back together. Slowly, when he removed the spectral hands, the tree was completely reattached. There wasn't any mark, nothing at all to show that the tree was broken or hurt to begin with. If Naruto did not know any better, he would say that he reversed the time where the tree was broken, but that was not physically possible. But he had no idea how exactly this ability worked. That is when his hearing picked up on something. Byakugan. The veins bulged at the side of his eyes. He was surprised when he saw Mito Uzumaki. She was holding a large scroll in her hand. The both of them weren't really friends per se. The girl was loud, and she loved to draw attention to herself, the complete opposite of Naruto. Aruka was injured. Naruto then saw Mizuki standing on a tree with a smirk on his face, but it seems that Aruka talking was pissing him off as he turned towards him hatefully. Naruto started to run, making his way toward the scene when he saw Mito kicked Mizuki away as he read her lips. "Don't touch my sensei, or I'll kill you." Naruto watched as Mizuki pulled out two Fuma shurikens as he twirled them. He threw them towards her as she dodged. She brought her hand together. Naruto was surprised, as she created so many clones. However, these weren't her standard clones though. He could see the chakra pathway in each and every one of them. By his recollection, she failed the exams. Yes, he saw her running away, but now she was out here fighting. Mizuki did not stand a chance as she brutalized him. Naruto decided to stay away as he watched them with his Byakugan. Aruka called her over before, giving her his headband. As Naruto saw Anvus coming their way, he decided to get out of there. Upon arriving back towards the compound, that technique of hers would come quite in handy. He saw the way her chakra moved. He saw the way her chakra expanded and bring to life the replica of herself. Naruto brought his hand up as there was a tiny white flash. Before, something strange happened though. Naruto watched as the spectral hands, the form of the spectral hands, they twist and turn before they start to take shape, humanoid, as they turn into a perfect copy of himself. Naruto was surprised by this. He wasn't afraid of being caught. Most Hyugas respected privacy. Well, if the main house wanted to see what you were doing, they would, but the branch members would not spy on their own. That is why he wasn't afraid of doing this here. As Naruto was surprised to what he saw though, a perfect copy of himself, down to his skin tone and everything, appeared in front of him. As he looked up, "What is your desire?" he said. He didn't really had anything for him to do though, but Naruto was curious as he asked, "What are you? You didn't appear the same way. The way Mito summoned her clones." "You created me," the clone said. "Yes, I did, but you're not the clone that do physical attributes, are you?" The clone walked over as he poked the wall. "Yes, I'm quite physical." Naruto blinked as he found himself looking at himself. He knew that he was looking at himself and not the clone because he was seeing the wall and futon behind him. "How is this? You're seeing through my eyes. You are my creator after all. My body is yours." Naruto looked at him oddly as he stepped forward. He placed a hand on his clone's shoulder. He felt something strange. Naruto then scanned through him. He had a heartbeat. He had everything that he possessed, not to mention his chakra. "I'm sorry about this," said Naruto, as he slammed his palm in the clone's stomach. The clone slammed into the wall slightly. It then picked itself back up. "No need to apologize, creator," he said. "I am here to serve you." As Naruto realized this wasn't just physical, it was a copy of himself. That was odd, and it did not pop after the strike. This thing in front of him was alive just like he was. How was that even possible? As Naruto looked at it, as he looked at it internally before he felt that feeling, that tug. Naruto tugged on that feeling and he felt the clone chakra destabilize. The clone body started to wither away as the chakra flew back into him. Naruto couldn't believe what he just did. He created a perfect replica of himself that was also alive. Something like that should not be possible. He's never heard of someone doing that before. He looked at his hands, trying to understand just what exactly was happening with him. Meanwhile, Naruto was going over that. Beyond the elemental nation in the deep recesses of space, a being resided. It was a woman. She had long white hair that went down to her back. She was wearing a white dress that wrapped around her form. From appearance alone, she seemed to be early 20s. She had pupilless eyes, as she was standing unaffected by the vacuum of space. Her face was calm and relaxed, despite the small twinkling of her eyebrows. She seemed to be searching for something. She was surprised. After millennia, she felt it. It shouldn't be possible, but she felt it. She felt it. She thought that he was gone forever, but no, she felt it. However, there was a problem if she felt it as well. The others probably knew as well. But they had no idea what exactly they were sensing, but she knew. They might think that it was just another Otsutsuki, but she knew that feeling. It was her master. But after what happened to him, she thought she would never feel his existence ever again. But for a tiny moment she felt his power in the far, far distance. It was so small she could not pinpoint exactly where it was. But she will find him as she took off. Meanwhile, that was going on. Far, far, far away from her was a man with a veil over his face. You sensed that, didn't you? Yes, I did. Standing beside him was a large man, muscular and massive. But what is it? Could it be another one of us? That's impossible, the shorter man said as he was seated. Think, Kinshiki. Where would it have come from? Yes, you're right, Lord Momoshiki. The large man responded, calling the younger man with respect. The younger man got to his feet. Now known as Momoshiki, he gazed around. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll find it, he said. Naruto was completely unaware that any of this was going on, having no idea what he was, or what was out there, or the threats that were coming just because of his mere existence. But guys, be and subscribe right here for next parts, and do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. But I'm over now, see you guys soon. Peace.